everybody. Welcome to Wingman's Hangar, episode 24, or 24. I'm Eric Wingman Peterson, and this is half of...
Rob Designopotamus Irving.
Half of Rob
Something
Designopotamus.
Feels kind of weird.
No, this is...
I feel like
feels perfect
I feel
now.
like a part of me is missing.
And this is great.
There's an emptiness inside.
Nah, come on in, man.
All right.
You've got that cool shirt on anyway. You should actually your show.
Ta-da!
Wait a minute, that's a Monday thing.
Wrong show.
Yeah, it's a Friday thing. So if you're new to the show, it's not going to get any better.
They already left.
Yeah, they left. all two of them have gone now.
Oops.
We're kind of an inside look at Descent Underground, the rebooting of the popular 90s Descent franchise, 6 Degrees of Freedom. 6 degrees of what, Michael?
6 degrees of awesome.
Six degrees of awesome. 6 degrees of awesome.
Oh,
Yeah, that's anyway. So we are rebooting the franchise. We're bringing everything up to date on what we went on, what goes on this week, what happens every week while we're making the game. We've had some pretty cool discussions this week. We've had some new game types talked about. We've had advisory boards. Lots of stuff's going on. Well, so let's thank our new backers first.
Let's thank our new
We got some new backers. Look at that.
Welcome, new people.
Right, welcome aboard. And a special thanks to Corbin and Sparky5 for your exceptional support. That's much appreciated. And welcome to our new undergrounders. Applesauce, Corbin joined here too, Pipsqueak, Rico XG, Sparky5, and Thornfoot.
That's a whole lot of undergrounders.
That is, and that's cool.
Welcome to the
And they're going to
club.
be playing the Proving Grounds pretty soon.
Yes.
Coming up today, we have a week in review, including our weekly studio snapshot. This week's most valuable post. Build-A-Bot update. That's getting close to the end, actually.
Very close.
Right. Michael Morlan with the latest in the real space news. Can't wait for
I haven't
that.
seen that in a while.
I know. I hope you know. And of course, we have form feedback with your questions. So this week at Descendent Studios, we had an advisory board meeting. We played with the advisory board we took a current build. We played them today, actually, and it was
Awful!
worser.
Worser.
It was worser. We fixed some things, which brought new. It's supposed to work this way, but it opened up new bugs.
Yes, new problems.
Like propagation of power-ups. The power-up
variable C.
propagation problem.
A
the
veritable
PP.
sea of power-ups.
Yeah, it was like you couldn't see down tunnels. There was so many
It
power-ups.
was just clogged everywhere.
It was like come out of your spawn point. Ooh, I'm fully powered. It was brutal. So
Whoops.
that's been fixed already. But it was really fun to play. And so we have a meeting with the advisory board. And this is what we're going to be doing at the Proving Grounds too. We met with the advisory board. We played together. We talked about what worked, what didn't work, what we could do better, and we took away from that. And so we're marching on to the Proving Grounds. There are basically 3 big things left to fix before we can release that. We have client server prediction. We want to make sure that right now the way it works is the server handles all movement, and so that can create lag and stuff for the end users. And not so bad for a small group of like 10 that we have on the advisory board and us, but really bad for hundreds of people in the Proving Grounds, which we want to make sure we get to. So Jason said that's a couple weeks out. He's working on that right now. So a couple weeks we'll have that fixed. Launcher patcher. We got to be able to get this to you, and you've got to be able to launch the game. And more importantly, they have to be able to patch it because we do 4, 5, 6 builds a day. So we'll be not necessarily releasing all of those, but we'll want to be when we do. We won't have to have you download everything, but rather just download the necessary bits, which is part of the launcher patcher. And of course, if you're going to play a game, got to be able to match people up.
That's kind of important.
Yeah. So matchmaking as well, at least rudimentary. I think the first one's just going to be quick match, and then we'll build from that. So that's coming as well. And those are the 3 stoppers right now for us on Proving Grounds, but they're not huge, and they're already works going on progress. So, and now it's time for this week's Studio Snapshot.
Because Kevin has the score recalculate every second oh yeah. So I guess there are 2 in blue then?
I don't know. Or maybe I'm spawning on top of the other player? No, the other player's not in there.
Take! I don't understand. What?
That was the camera position when I started
Oh!
playing, so it's cycling between the 4 start points and the
camera
position.
Okay. Phew! This is our in-game control configuration. Right now it's just programmer art, so it's like default Unreal assets. But it's got all the functionality you could possibly want. You've got your different axes here and then the input axes for them. So for example, pitch is now map to mouse wide.
Well, I mean, in the long run, if we end up doing it in stages and maybe releasing it for people to play with a little bit while it's in progress, being able to show them progress along the way is not a bad thing. As long as we have one map that we consider pretty finished.
The other approach is to concept something out. The real approach is to concept something out on different moving pieces and all that. Build the pieces, but I think that's
That's not the risk.
yeah. I don't think so. I mean, we could even if we had an army of guys, I don't think you just stack it that high. You can't really parallel it.
Hey now! Hey!
Always fun to see what's going on in the studio each week.
Especially since we did it.
Yes, that's the bugs and the fun parts that are working. So we want to show and keep you guys in on what's happening. That's kind of one of the Phil likes to show that. That's his blogs. Like, he's got the most popular blog.
It's the centerpiece of his blog.
It is the centerpiece of his blog. That's true. We got new stuff this week, Rob. We got the
stuff?
The Vulcan cannon is working, sort of. We don't have the artwork necessarily in there for
That's
it.
the only little downside to it.
Tidbit,
Right
yeah,
now,
we don't have the art. We want to have the tracer around so you can see where it's going, and then we have to get the Vulcan cannons actually attached to the ships. But it's working. We've tested it out. We like that. We have quad lasers. Mike, I think you got some. So we've gone through the quad laser process. Yeah. We kind of had these to choose from, and then we chose one of the finals. And here is kind of what the final quad laser is going to look like. Now, there's going to be more of those if you have the Typhoon, correct?
Yeah.
So what, is it really still the quad laser when there's 6 of them?
The hex laser?
The hex laser? Hexa-laser? It's a hex of a laser. Anyway, so that'll be coming. I know. And the T-shirt contest has been announced. So check that out. There's a link probably right in this area here. And Keith's running that. We've got a T-shirt for, lots of prizes and giveaways. People, most T-shirts like in one location. Descendent Studios. Most T-shirts, the best picture, all those kind of things. We're the one closest to the nearest, most famous thing or whatever. And we're just going to have fun with it. We want those T-shirts out there. We want you guys repping us and repping you guys because this is kind of one big community event. And, of course, speaking of Keith and his T-shirts contest, it's time for this week's Most Valuable Post.
Welcome to Most Valuable Post, where we celebrate someone who's made a positive contribution to Descent Underground. This week, we celebrate someone who recognized that people like to play games with the controllers they're used to. And they went and put together a script for generating controller configurations so you could use gamepads with the classic Descent games. So congratulations, deftflux. You're this week's Most Valuable Poster.
Congratulations, deftflux. This is really cool for you. And
Thank you.
Nice work, MVP. We love to reward people with MVP posts and get a little forum badge. And
And hot off the presses.
that's-
Hot off the artwork presses.
that's
We got
like
something new coming in.
high-end news CDs. That's like a hot flash or something.
Professional.
Check that out.
Ooh.
It's a real honest to
Yeah.
gosh Predator model.
Predator, right? Look at that. Look at that.
That's our latest from
It is very cool.
the art department right
Yeah,
there.
it looks great.
Thanks, Josh.
Can't wait to get that in and fly it, right? That's going to be fun. Now, those aren't in the game yet, but they're coming. Very, very
It's
cool.
gonna make Pixley even harder to kill.
It's going to be, I think we don't let him fly that one.
Okay.
Or we nerf it when he does.
I want to do that.
I know. You know what time it is, though, Rob? What time is
What
it?
time is it?
It's time for forum feedback.
It's time for forum feedback. Well, let's get to it. From Gosnick, an undergrounder. Can you please elaborate on the weapons plan for the game? How many weapons will we have? 10 like in D1 or 20 like D2 and 3?
Or some other number that's
Or-
not
or
10 or
s-
20.
Or some other number.
The initial plans for what we're going for our first product, it would be essentially the 10 that were in D1, plus the guided missile, plus the laser grid,
Yeah, we're building up, too. And those aren't complete.
plus the smart bomb, plus...
Well, the smart bomb was in the... not smart bomb,
yeah,
the smart missile.
The smart
yeah.
mine was not in D1. It was in
Right.
D2.
So I guess that's what, 13?
13.
So we've got quite, and we'll be adding, and then the mining laser also can be somewhat used as a weapon. So it's 40. So to answer your question is at least 14.
More than 10.
More than 10. So yeah, and a lot of this will be going through the proving grounds again, not to bang that drum too often, but we'll put new weapons in, try them out, and let people decide. Like laser grid, we weren't sure was going to work. We put it in there, and man, that's fun.
It's fun now that we got the numbers tweaked right.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, do you remember when it would stay for 60 seconds? You could shut down the whole map. Pixley would go through laser grid, and then you were like,
In front of all the starting rooms.
you can't go anywhere. And then I think, weren't we gonna have the shaman like suck the energy out and be able to take it down? And then we decided that missiles would be a nice way to get around it too.
Yeah, the shaman can also take it.
Yeah,
The shaman can take it back.
take it back. Right, right. All right, from Renegade Shank. Will there be mines that we can drop and bounce around like a rubber ball instead of sitting still? Well, wow, that's kind of interesting. Interesting style of mine there, like bouncing around. That'd be tough to fly.
Well,
through.
since the laser grid is stationary, I guess the mine bouncing wouldn't be an awful thing.
No, you know, maybe there's 15. These are some of the kind of things we'll be
Hippie hop mines?
hippie hot mines. Yeah, you know, we've got some ideas for some bouncing stuff. We'll get to that some other time. From a deftflux, an undergrounder. What control layout are you guys using on the Xbox controller? This is from the MVP post.
This is our MVP guy, yeah.
He's asking us what we're using for the Xbox One controller, which right now is one of the recommended ones. But I think Tyler, you now have in our build is the ability to configure all your controllers. So here's the weapon. Here's the layout we use for the Xbox One controller. The funny thing is,
By we mean not everybody.
No,
we don't even all agree with this.
No, we don't. But this is the one that with the standard on there.
Yeah,
and again,
that's the default.
you can
I switched mine up already.
you can customize it, right? And that's a complete thing. If we can go back to that, Mike, can we throw that back on there? Yeah. So the funny thing is, when we went to the RTX show, that RT fire gun was actually, didn't we have RT on both sides?
It was LT.
LT on
it was
both sides.
LLLL.
LLT, all LT. So that's funny. But that right there is the default for the Xbox One controller. I think we have a couple other images to show. Well, there's the PS4 controller. Ooh. Yep, that also works. And of course, there is the keyboard, mouse, joystick, all of the above. That's kind of those are kind of the default ones we're looking at right now. And again, those are completely configurable by you guys, which is another thing we wanted again before we went to a wider audience. The advisory board had to edit INI files to get their things to change, and it took Dracona and Lotherbot a little ways to do it. Now they've got this to play with, and so we're getting feedback on that and the usability. And anyway, we're getting there.
We should configure Pixley's controls so that the triggers both
backwards.
Like back him up or something. Yeah, drop a laser grid.
or it shoots himself.
Drops a laser
And
grid.
we have convergence at the nose of his craft. From Chirpy, you said you could earn more ships and such in game. Is that only for multiplayer gameplay to unlock them, or is it single player? How will all of that work?
Can I just answer yes to that? Will that just cover
no,
that
I
whole
think you
thing
got to
now?
say more than that. Well, I mean, we're still designing this as we go. The original concept was ships are unlocked. Well, for sure they'll be unlocked in single player, and that's going to be some of the progression.
You get different ships as you go through the missions.
But then we had talked about also unlocking them in multiplayer, where you get to certain levels and you unlock the next generation of ships. Whether it's how much of a grind, because people were worried about it being too much of a grind. So that's all planned,
TBD.
but it's all also something that we're in the discussions with you guys and with us, with the Proving Grounds, Undergrounders, ourselves, the community. We want to get this right. So that is planned, but how long or things of that nature, it's TBD. You know, we're going to get it out in your hands, and you'll have plenty of time to help us know what you like or don't like about that. From Lacarme, what goes into game design document? How would someone start writing one? Ooh, Rob.
Game design
You're the keeper of
documents.
the
My
GDD.
very favoriteest thing in the whole world. Well, game design document is, if you think of it in Scrum terms, it's kind of like the user story for the whole game. It's the simplest terms.
It's a group of user stories.
It's somewhere between the beginnings of a manual and a description of all the game elements that we need, and it can go into great detail on some things, some mechanics stuff that won't show up in a manual, but it basically is saying how we think everything is going to work. And a lot of it is kind of developed and tweaked in parallel while we're
100%.
developing. It's
100%.
it's not set in stone, it's a living document. You always start with a good outline. It's like, what are the functions and features of my game? You lay that out, and then you start filling it in.
And so this is the guy writing, the keeper of the Bible.
Yeah, it's like 60 pages right now, I think.
Yeah, and growing.
And growing.
I think I wrote a little bit today on a possible game type, and we'll see.
Yeah.
See how that goes. See if it makes it in.
Appendix Q.
See if it makes it past the guy here. From OX White.
That's a computer address.
Is it?
Yes.
Can you talk about the post-launch plan for the single-player campaign and what the timeline looks like for getting a complete campaign? This is a good question. So right now we signed up to do around a 12-mission prologue, which unlocks and things of that nature.
Intro.
We want to do a huge campaign, but that's going to depend on how the sales go for the game through early access and through crowdfund and things like that. So one of the reasons we're considering early access is that it allows people to buy the game, well, at a discount, but it also allows that money to help fund the rest of the bigger projects, because I think it's going to cost about $1 million, I think, to make this big campaign. So, and we want to do it.
At least.
Yeah. So we've got it planned to where we leapfrog and go, and so. So what timeline looks like? Well, the timeline until we get the funding doesn't look great for it. So it is coming. At least we hope to. And if enough people buy it, early access or others, then we'll make it after that. We'll let you know then. From Shogun, an undergrounder. Will there be drones that will look different but be the same for balance? Like 2 or 3 miners, tanks, and so on to allow for fun things like maybe a wing noob or drillsy ship.
A drillsy ship, huh?
Yeah, that's what the customization of wings, noses, and tails will entail. I'm not sure we're going to have a drillsy thing, or definitely not a wing noob.
Down the line, there might be additional ships that we put in because they fit somewhere where there's a gap. But,
oh, yeah, and they'll help us find those gaps, too.
And I mean, like the different versions of the Torch /
Tis true. By the way, speaking of the Torch, we're over 34% there now, and so once the Torch is, Torch is free for everybody out there, but once it's unlocked, it's going away forever. So there'll be a ship with similar stats, but it will not be the Torch. So you're right. I forgot about that. We're going to be doing that as well. From DEFCON X, will Mac OS X, Linux, and Windows play on separate servers? If there will be Xbox One and PlayStation 4 versions, will those play on separate servers?
So Mac, Linux, PC will play on one set of servers.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone can play together.
What about Xbox One and PlayStation 4 servers?
They're not as friendly about wandering off from their networks, so most likely we'll have to look into that.
Yeah, it's
if we need to.
They both made noises about allowing PC and Xbox people to play against each other and PlayStation to play. But does that mean that the server's hosted through them or through... We have to figure that out. And right now, nobody's handed us a bucket of money to make any console versions anyway. So until they're not currently planned. Not to say we wouldn't, because I think the game does translate well there.
Oh, yeah.
But right now, so... Oh, speaking of that, we have a website apology to do.
We do.
We're sorry.
We're really sorry.
We're sorry. Are we sorry, Mark? Mike?
I'm not sorry. I had nothing to do with that.
You should be sorry
Mike's
anyway.
really sorry.
Yeah,
Okay,
Mike's
I'm sorry
Yeah,
too.
he's sorry.
Yes,
So
I did.
what happened was, when we launched the new store, the store we use is a piece of software called IPB or IPS, and it allows us to use their Nexus version. And so when we put the new store together, there was a checkbox in there that automatically selected itself and immediately inserts in the sign-up login process a page to donate and pledge. Yeah. And so the way it's supposed to work is you go play or not play. Yeah, see now here it was working the right way. Now the way you're supposed to log in and say, do you want to create an account? You create an account, ask for your birthday details, and then it goes, all right, we're going to send you out for validation. It sends you an email to validate, and it says at that point, do you wish to pledge? Select here or later, right? So it's a very mild. This is if you want to, great. If not, no biggie. Glad to have you. But what it was doing was going. You would hit the create account and it would go boop, store page would pop up. Not only would it pop up, but it was the wrong amount.
The discount was missing.
The discounts were missing. It was the wrong amount, so it was like extra. And then you say there was no option to say no, but you could definitely get by it by hitting create account, and then it would go, okay, I need your birth date and information, and then you'd hit go, and then it would, instead of going to the validation part, the store page would pop back up again. Yeah, and you had to hit it again, and so it recycled.
It's the hard sell.
It was like going to a used car lot and them taking your car off to get it washed, and you couldn't get it back until you bought something. It was terrible. So
tell your friends to sign up for the Descendent Studios website because no purchase required.
No purchase required. And so the funny thing is, the way I found out about that was I got cussed out. Some guy joined, Kickstarter to cuss me out because I was forcing people to pay to join our forums. And I argued, I was like, what are you talking about? That's not the way it works.
You don't have to do that.
And the funny thing is, when we're going through all these tests, we tested the store, we tested everything else, but we never tested logging back in as a new. So we added something to the testing plan.
Test plan has been changed.
So our apologies, and we do appreciate the dude who cussed me out. He's now part of the. I'm not going to out him. He's part of the community now. He's joined, and we gave him a little bug smasher and some thank you very much. I actually gave him a copy of the game because it was a big deal to us that he found that.
Yeah.
So that is the end of forum feedback, and now it's time for Keith McCormick with a Build-A-Bot update.
Keith Dunkelza McCormick here for Descent Underground's Build-A-Bot Challenge, where you have a chance to build a bot that goes in the game. This week, I'm getting ready to say goodbye to this AMD 290X video card with 4 gigabytes of RAM because one of you is taking it home. We are nearing the end of the Build-A-Bot Challenge. We've just finished Stage 3 design, we're about to wrap up Stage 4 art, and that leaves just one stage left to get that bot all together and in the game. So let's talk about Stage 3 design. We had a whole bunch of great name suggestions from lots of people in the community, and in the end, we had to pick just one. We settled on Incendius, or Incendius, and something like that. Anyway, congratulations, Xyphon. You've named the bot. We're also concluding Stage 4 of art. You've only got a few more days to get your entries in at this location. So send us a skin for the bot, because once we close that, there's only one stage left. So get to our website, enter the Build-A-Bot Challenge, because you might be taking this thing home.
Wow, congratulations, Xyphon, and thanks for a great bot name, Incendius. That is pretty...
Incendius. Incendius.
Oh, because it's a fire.
Bot of fire.
How is it?
Incendius.
Incendius. Not Incendius. Incendius.
No.
Thanks, Xyphon. It will be Incendius. Now it's time for Michael Morlan, because we love some real space news. Take it away, Michael, with real space.
I'm Michael Morlan, bringing you real space news you can use. Well, it is with great regret that I convey sad tidings. Yes, it's true, our universe is dying. The slow heat death of the universe has been confirmed in a recent deep space survey. That's right, winter is coming. The Galaxy and Mass Assembly Project, which used 7 of the world's most powerful telescopes to observe the sky in a wide array of electromagnetic wavelengths, revealed the energy output of the nearby universe is currently half of what it was only 2 billion years ago. Dr. Luke Davies, a member of the ICRAR research team which conducted the survey, noted the universe will just grow old forever, slowly converting less and less mass into energy as billions of years pass until eventually it becomes a cold, dark, and desolate place where all the lights go out. And on a lighter note, while hitching a ride to Mars may be beyond the current reach of man, NASA is offering the next best thing. Okay, well, the next best thing would be a personal robo-presence on the Martian surface, but the next best thing could be your name on a space probe on Mars. You can sign up to have your name added to a microchip currently hitching a ride to Mars on the InSight Mars lander, scheduled to launch in March 2016. The NASA page is a little clumsy, but if you get everything right, you should receive a nifty little boarding pass, complete with your name. The deadline for submissions is September 8th, 2015. This is Michael Morlan, and that's our view on the space news you can use.
Wow.
Space is cool.
Space is cool. That's kind of what we're doing, space games. We think it's pretty neat. There's a new Star Trek Renegade show on YouTube, by the way, with some of the old original cast members from some of the Star Treks. Yeah, check it out. Star Trek Renegades. It's like an hour and a half. They're doing a pilot. YouTube's doing a series. It's kind of interesting, actually. YouTube's turning into an actual channel. So coming up at Descendent Studios, we have some unclaimed prizes from RTX. Paul Mikulik, Peter Thompson, we need to hear from you. Don't make us give your stuff away. So give us a shout. You might have tried to sign up during the sign-up extravaganza horror the last week or so. So come by, Paul Mikulik and Peter Thompson. We need to hear from you. CGBot has joined, and they're helping with the Mobius map. It's kind of part asteroid and part ship. You want to describe what that is?
It's a factory
Spaceship?
built on top of an asteroid.
Right.
So the old way, before they had the cool harvesters, they would just go in there and build a factory on top of a rock until they dug it all out.
Right.
So this is the factory on top of the asteroid, on top of the...
So you'll have some hallways that look, because people are roaming, and then you'll have we don't want to get too much
A
away.
mix of industrial and rock and other things.
Very, very cool. We have some game types coming for early release and for Steambot. We have Capture the Core, Anarchy, Team Deathmatch or Team Anarchy, and what's this hot something? Well, we'll save that for later. We'll save that for later. We'll leave that for later. Oh, we got a Drillsy cartoon.
Oh, giddy.
Yay, Drillsy. Is this, what do we got, Michael? Are we playing parts?
All right, yeah, we got parts. Eric, you'll play yourself.
Yay.
I'll play Drillsy. And Rob, you'll play a new character that we haven't seen yet in the cards.
It's a lot of pressure.
A lot of pressure. You
All
guys
right.
ready?
Yeah, let's do
All
it.
right, here
Let's
we
do it.
go.
Let's do it.
All right, kicking it off with Eric.
RTX was great, Drillsy. Everyone loved the playable demo of Descent Underground. I can't wait to get it out to our supporters to play in a few weeks.
Well, that's just great here. Wingman, I wish I could have been there.
You were there in spirit.
Aw, thanks. Nice that you missed. What the space butt is that?
Oh, hey, Winglet, why are you still wearing that thing? Go take off the costume so we can get it cleaned.
Okay, Dad.
That was Winglet dressed up as our new mascot, Danny the Dancing Drone. He was a big...
You better be cleaning with fire!
We are now.
That was terrible. That was terrible.
The cartoon was awesome.
Spectacular. Good job, Angry Peas.
the
Bad
re-
job, all of us.
The reading needs work.
Wow.
Needs work. But you know, that's how we roll. We all need work.
Speaking of needing work,
Yeah, what?
how's your weight going, Wingman?
Oh, last week I was at 239 pounds, and this week I got all the way to 241 pounds. Yeah, I had a couple fajitas. A couple with some guacamole and some other stuff. So I'm sure it's back down again. That's just what the scale said today. So we'll I'm sure.
I don't think that's how it works.
Somebody stuck a roll of pennies on there, damn it. So we'll see how that goes.
It's miscalibrated.
We'll get it. Thanks to our Underground members and all of our backers and pledgers. Subscribe to our YouTube, Twitch, Twitter feeds. Find out what's going on when it happens. You'll get the first to know. Like, you know, when maybe Design Underground is featuring Rob Irving, starring Rob Irving as publisher. Submit your forum feedback questions, and we need some videos. Don't make the Wing Noob come out, right?
Oh, no. Please don't.
No. And we will see him where? Underground.
Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade.
I'll lead them away. You stay here.
Don't leave me!
I have to, or they'll get you too.
There may be evidence that she is still alive.
Tell me.
Do this mission, and I will.
I'm worried about you, Poppy. You should have retired years ago.
I'm only 143. With all the new medical advances, I'll be around when you become captain.
The Federation made a grave mistake in interfering. We will not be stopped by you. We will not be stopped by anyone.
The Council refuses to act. He is destroying planets, and yet they do nothing.
We can't trust anyone.
Our salvation may rest with rogues and outcasts.
Alexa, sing. You're supposed to be serving out a life sentence in an Orion prison.
A recognized leader of a whole world, and we just stroll in and assassinate him.
Starfleet's prime directive won't let them interfere, so they have to find someone else.
Spirit without discipline can have deadly consequences.
This is his stronghold. It's ultra-fortified.
That won't bother me.
Be careful. One tragedy is enough.
Make no mistake. You will be hunted.
That's the way we like it.
I will bring the Federation to their knees.
We could be in trouble.
We're already in trouble.
Let's give them hell. Return fire.
Be careful, Paul. This could get out of hand very easily.